Good evening. And FTB Sport, you've seen it, have just gone global. The football season is over. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the Champions League. But what I do want to talk about with my pal Deji here is the transfer window. First show. The transfer window opens on June the 9th. So what's that, about 11 days away? And it closes at the end of August on the 31st. So that importantly goes right through the Euros. So there'll be a few players in the Euros looking for moves, rumours, etc. through the Euros. I never like the fact that the season starts and, you get a couple of injuries to the big clubs, plunder the little clubs. I don't like that at all, but it is what it is. I'm going to kick off and just talk about some done deals that are over the line. Aguero has gone to Barcelona today. We know that Alaba has gone to Real Madrid from Bayern Munich. I think that looks like a good free signing, a very good free signing. Like he's got a 4 or 5 year contract there. He's only 28. Peak of his powers, an awesome player. And a guy I don't know much about, but apparently he's a fantastic young central defender. Kanata has gone to Liverpool. My only thoughts on Aguero is, as I was saying to a couple of Spanish friends, it'll either go one way or the other. He'll either be injured for the bulk of his contract, and I just wonder what the Man City medical guys know about this, whether that's why they've let him go, or he'll be La Liga's top scorer for 2 seasons and he'll finally win the Ballon d'Or and it won't be at City. It's going to go one of 2 ways. Any thoughts on those 3 that have crossed the line, Deji? You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ian. Yeah, no, just picking up on what you're saying, that's always my favourite time of the year, transfer season, partly because Spurs is always in the headlines and it can do your head in sometimes. But I'm hoping some of the stuff that I'm seeing about my beloved come over the line, but we'll talk about that shortly. Yeah, in relation to Aguero, I was kind of like, I think that's a good deal for Barcelona. So what you've got is Messi and Aguero. They're bringing the kind of Argentinian international connection. They're taking it to Barcelona. Aguero is a top draw striker, to be honest with you. And I think if he can go to any club in the world. And I think the fact that Barcelona have gone in for him, I think he's still got 3 or 4 years. And I think it's the latter. I see him scoring a lot of goals and taking Barcelona and winning the league with them next season. I think that's what was missing this season. And I think, in every season, you need to change it up. And the one thing that has been missing in Barcelona for quite some time, actually, is just an out-and-out striker. We're talking about days where they had the likes of kind of Eto'o, they had Henry, with Messi. And actually, I think having Aguero in the squad takes a little bit more pressure off Messi. And I can see them doing well. They've got a nice young squad, young midfield. But what they need is someone who's cool, and deadly in front of Grohl, and I think Aguero's got a good deal. I think it's a good deal for both clubs, and dare I say, I can see Aguero potentially knocking out your boys in the quarterfinals next year or the semis. So that's a great deal. In relation to what was the other transfer? Sorry, Ian?
Alaba to Real Madrid from Bayern. David Alaba, great.
David Alaba, I love that guy. He is a world-class player. I remember Pep when he arrived at Man City, and there was talk about Alaba potentially coming to join you guys right at the beginning. And Pep said he's the best player he's ever played. He's the only player that can play every position on the pitch. And that was a quote, direct quote from Pep Guardiola. So if Pep believes he can play any position, and he's only 28, what a great deal. And he deserves it. I mean, he's been at Bayern Munich for pretty much most of his career.
Well, with that 18 team, he's probably going to have to play every position.
Well, I know, but it was about time. I mean, he's the sort of player that he needed to move around. I think for you to be a true great, you need at least 2 or 3 big clubs, and he's only been at Bayern Munich, and I think he needs maybe a season or 2 at Madrid, and then another couple of seasons at City or United or something like that.
Do you know much about Kanata going to Liverpool? Looks an athletic sort of chap.
Yeah, looks like one thing about Liverpool is the transfers that they make, really precision in terms of buying players, and I think he's going to be a class act for Liverpool. I think Liverpool they're not into buying 4 or 5 or 6 players all at once. They buy 1 or 2 players who come in fit in the squad. If you look at Van Dijk, if you look at Jota, even the lad, the striker that they sent out on loan, I forgot his name, but Kanata, I see him being a very
Japanese guy.
Yeah, the Japanese player.
Minamito?
Yeah, that's it, Minamino.
Yeah.
They're all quality players. It's just the Liverpool team is that good that it's hard for them to get in. But I think it's another great buy for Liverpool, and it just has me thinking, why can't Spurs find these players? That's all I can say about that.
Well, yeah, some of the loans haven't worked out there. Talking about Spurs, then we've mentioned players as a done deal. Allegri is a done deal going to Juve, the king of Turin, replacing Pirlo. You've got to, Lampard not making it at Chelsea, Pirlo. It's right for Gerrard to take his time to learn his craft. It is always such a gamble. A player that is utterly loved, stepping up to manager before they've really won the strikes. You've got Raul in the waiting wings of Real Madrid, not ready yet. You've got Xavi out in the middle of Barcelona, not ready yet. I think they've got to take their time. But where does that leave Spurs now? Lots of rumours about Pochettino coming back there. Conte even was mentioned today. What's your thoughts? Where do you think if you spin the wheel, where's it going to land? Pochettino, Conte, Roberto.
If you've seen me on Paxton Road, I can definitely tell you, definitely not Martinez. He's not the great man for the job. He did a good job at Everton, but he's not what Spurs need. We need somebody.
Yeah, you're right. I give you that.
I'm actually more radical. For me, it was a Bielsa if we couldn't get Poch. If we've got the opportunity to get Pochettino, we must bring him back. Pochettino did a great job. Look at this season. Spurs for 5 seasons were pretty much guaranteed top 4 under Poch. We were getting closer in terms of the Premier League. We got to a Champions League final. We then got ahead of ourselves, a little bit of a goldfish bowl, forgot who we are, forgot about we were punching above our weight. And really and truly, Spurs is about 7th. And if we want to get into the top 4, top 3 again, you need Pochettino. And if Pochettino can come back with resources, this squad is arguably better than the squad that he left. Let's add 1 or 2 players. I really think he can take us over the line. But remember, Pochettino had 18 months without a single transfer. It is a disgrace. It's a travesty. And he warned the faithful, and he wasn't listened to. And now we're seeing the kind of repercussions of what he was pre-warning us.
I hope for you and the faithful it works out if Pochettino goes there. He must feel embarrassment about not winning the French league. It's not a difficult league. It is a touch embarrassing not winning that Farmers League.
Yeah and no, but we've got to remember that he came halfway. During the season. He's only been at PSG 6 months, and yes, but I think it would have been more embarrassing if he started the season with PSG and he didn't win. Coming halfway through, that team was a bit. Tuchel had lost the dressing room. He had to kind of build trust. We got personalities, Neymar, Mbappe. I don't think it's that bad. Lille did a great. Sometimes you just got to give credit to the teams that won. Atletico Madrid won the Spanish league. They deserve to win it. They played well. They got the most points.
Real Madrid were really aging. Barcelona are in pieces. And you know what? Atletico made the best of a bad deal. But I challenge the French one. I mean, you look at that PSG team and it is riddled with talent. It's got talent in every area. Every area. Not to win that league, I think that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but I think we just got to remember that when he took over, PSG weren't top of the league. I think they were 2nd or 3rd. I mean, if my memory serves me correctly, and he's brought them within a point of winning the league. I do hear what you're saying, but I don't think at any stage he was top with PSG. He was always chasing down.
Yeah.
He needed at least 3 more games, and then I think he would have done it.
Yeah. Well, I hope for you and the Spurs faithful that Pochettino returns, and it'll be interesting to track how many managers have returned and done well. Nobody necessarily springs to mind.
No, but I think if Pochettino starts again at Spurs, he would do awesome. He did it once. Remember, the team that he inherited was rubbish. And he took us into a team that was challenging and feared all over Europe. I think he can do a great job. I mean, I'm seeing Spurs fans talk about Conte and all these other managers. I'm thinking, are you mad? Forget it. Pochettino wasn't backed. If he's backed, he can do a great job, and that's what we want to see.
I'd be scared if I was the supporter of any decent sized club. I'd be scared to my boots with Conte coming in. He's a wild man. The other manager vacancy is interesting. Obviously, Real Madrid is a big vacancy. That's a big vacancy. Inter is a pretty big vacancy too. You got Zidane floating around saying, actually, I want another gig. It's all gone quiet on the Rafa Benitez front. Nobody's linked Rafa with a move, and he wants one. I can't believe Roy is being associated with West Bromwich. I'm surely at 73 he's going to put his feet up. I can't see that. I think West Brom will take the guy who was at Sheffield United, surely, because he was a good guy. But that leaves us with 2, Wolves and Palace. Lots of managers linked with Palace. Sean Dyche is probably the right man for the job because they've got such limited resource, loads out of contract. He's probably one of the few that I think can keep them in the Premier League because I think they're going to have a fight on their hands. But I believe that Burnley want 3 million and Dyche won't come cheap. And so that's got a bit stuck.
Palace can afford 3 million for Sean Dyche. I mean, for crying out loud, you've got Wilfried Zaha on about 150 grand a week there. You can pay 3 mil for Sean Dyche. I think for me, what's quite exciting is I actually think this season's transfer window in terms of managers is probably going to be more exciting than the players because they're talking about Eddie Howe potentially going to Celtic. But I saw earlier today that Nuno, the ex-Wolves manager, is being looked at. Crystal Palace is looking, and you're thinking Palace is getting the likes of Sean Dyche and Nuno. What the hell's going on there? Because that's a step. That's the step above Palace from my opinion. No disrespect to Palace, but these are top raw managers and what's happening to the league. Yeah,
I think he could get quite a big gig. He could even go to Inter.
Who you mean Nuno? No,
he could even. I tell you who I think Frank Lampard is untried. Eddie Howe, I'm not convinced about. Cooper from Swansea seems really good, but has no Premier League experience. So I'd like to kind of disregard those guys. Yeah. My number one choice would be Rafa Benitez. Nuno would be great. Dyche will do. After that, it's big risk time. Big risk.
No disrespect to any of the Palace fans that are watching here, but I don't think any Palace fan could argue with any of those 3 managers. Let's just keep it real. Sean Dyche would probably get you up 2 or 3 positions higher than Roy did. Nuno will have you playing some sexy football, let's just be honest. And Rafa Benitez, I mean, bloody hell, you know what you're going to get. The only thing I would say about Rafa is you wouldn't want him coming to Palace if he's not going to be backed financially. You don't want him having a similar situation to what he had at Newcastle, where he was really, on a shoestring budget and he was doing he was producing miracles, up there. And you don't want his hands tied behind his back. Rafa wants the opportunity to flex with the big boys. And will Crystal Palace give him that ability? I'm just not so sure. But definitely. And then Nuno as well.
I think there's going to be a lot.
To pull it off, it's amazing.
There's going to be a lot of shoestrings around post-COVID, though. All those big clubs, whether you're Spurs, City, we'll come on to even Chelsea in a bit. There's going to be some books to be balanced. For example, if Man City want to sign Kane, they're probably going to have to offer Gabriel Jesus plus some money. It's not going to be a cash deal. They're talking about Pogba being swapped with Ronaldo. They're talking about far more player exchanges than we've ever seen before, because I'm not certain people have the cash.
I agree. And can I just caveat that the Harry Kane link for City? I think it's going to be more than Jesus and some cash. For me personally, Spurs, I would prefer us if we took Jesus and Laporte from you guys and potentially Sterling for Kane. I think if we can get them 3 players, that's a great deal.
All 3 of them for Kane, get out of town.
I'm just sticking it out there for for Daniel Levy, who's down with his
I'd be happy.
team.
I'd be happy for Kane to go to Chelsea, but I can't believe he are chasing Lukaku. I hope his first touch is better than when he left the Premier League. But
he did well at
Pep
Chelsea.
wants to mould young players, and Kane and Lukaku don't fit the bill of being Pep mouldable. Haaland ticks it to a treat. Grealish has got City written all over him in terms of his style of play and his give everything to the cause. But
Ian,
Harry,
we talk
28.
Yeah.
Not certain.
But we talked just before we came on air about Pep, and sometimes when the going gets tough, did he freeze? And it's normal. I think he's a top draw manager, and I think for Pep, he's won the league. He knows how to win the league. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the Carabao. But if you really want to get the Champions League, which is what he wants to do, you can see how hurt he was on Saturday. You're going to need to break the mold and stop doing your usual. You need tried and trusted. And who is tried and trusted? Harry Kane. You don't need Harry Kane for 3 or 4 seasons. You need Harry Kane to be banging in goals for 1 season where you win the Champions League. And then he can sit back in his armchair with that cigar, looking at Al Pacino and saying, "Look, mate, I'm truly am the godfather of football." And that's what he wants. But to do that, he needs Harry Kane. I think Haaland is a great player, but it's going to take time. And I don't even know if Pep wants to be around City for that long. I think secretly he wanted to win the Champions League and call it a day. Now he's got to spend another couple more seasons. So I think, for him, if he really wants to get it done in the next season or 2, Kane has to be priority number 1 for them.
Yeah. Just want to talk about Chelsea for a minute. Firstly, congratulations to Chelsea fans. You're the Champions League winners and you outplayed us on the day. And I think you should be impressed with yourselves because it's work in progress. You've won the Champions League and yet your team is work in progress. I think that should be pretty good. But interesting, Tomori, I think he's going to Italy. And you can look at Chelsea. They're going to rake in 30 million for him. They're probably going to rake in another 40 for Abraham, more for Loftus-Cheek, and even they might let who's the other lad with the double barrel name go?
Is it Hudson-Odoi? No, not Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah,
you've got well over £100 million of players. People said about Chelsea, they've spent lots of money, but actually, when you look at what they got for Hazard, they actually haven't. They haven't net spent a fortune, and even if they're talking about Abramovich is going to dig in and give him 250 million. Well, actually, I've just accounted for 150 of that, 150 million. Really, he may give him 100, 120. Well, to be fair, they've just won that from the Champions League. Yeah, so technically, they may spend 250 million and their books are completely balanced. And it's actually not a trend. So I think everyone should be frightened at Chelsea. They've got talent they can sell. They've won the Champions League for some money. And they're a good, sexy pull in London for international players. Surely you want Lukaku for the league.
I totally agree. And look, I'm not a big fan of Chelsea, as you know. But one thing I can say is that their youth system is bloody brilliant. You've listed a few players. There's plenty of other players. We got Reece James, who's probably going to start for England at right back. You've got Mason Mount. There's a whole load of quality in that Chelsea team, along with the players that they bought. And guess what? As you rightly put it, they can spend 250 million and they will still be in the black. I just can't see Harry Kane joining. I can't see Harry Kane joining Chelsea. I just feel, as a Spurs fan, Pochettino, with all the stuff that we've been through, he wouldn't do that to us because he will. That's almost pulling off a Sol Campbell. But what I can say is that Chelsea are the team to fear, and I think you're going to see Chelsea and Man City go. It's going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City go toe to toe, and it just shows.
I think United will be in the mix. United will be in the mix. Well, United will get better again. I put them in the same boat as Chelsea. They're a team that's work in progress. And whilst Chelsea managed to get a bit further with their work in progress team than United did externally, they're both teams that are work in progress. Whereas that's why I'm so disappointed with City, because actually they're not work in progress. They're a complete project. They should have landed it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the thing is, it just goes to show that this is the best league in world football.
37-year-old Ronaldo going to United as a swap for 27-year-old Pogba. You've got to be mental. Surely they're mad. You don't want the Ronaldo circus in town, even at United.
I mean, if that happens, Man United are off their rockers, and they will be playing in the Europa Conference League next season, because it's not just about playing football, as you know, the pace, the physicality of the Premier League. That's why it's the #1 league in world football. And I just don't know if Ronaldo, look, he's in great shape, but let's be honest, the Italian league and the Spanish league, mate, I'm not gonna lie, you can play that league at walking pace. This is frantic stuff. Ndombele will tell you, mate, he was huffing and puffing after 10 minutes in his first game against Man City. So that's just shows you the level. And
United, progressing with Sancho though, and he's a good player. He would add to their mix. Who else is happening? Yeah, there's all sorts. I'll tell you what's, I think, a sweet story. I love the idea of Ashley Young going back to Watford as they get promoted in the Premier League, where he started it. I'd love to see James Milner go back to Leeds. Just finishing their career. I just think it's lovely. Ashley Young going back to Watford when they get promoted. I think that's a really cute story.
I think it would be, and I think, like you said, Ashley Young. I was speaking to someone the other day who knew Ashley Young, and apparently he was a striker when he was at Watford before he got turned into a winger, and then he's gone off to have a fantastic career. And what a way to cap off a career than to finish at their boyhood clubs, both him and James Milner. James Milner, I remember him when he burst onto the scene, and it's like, look at this guy. And look at him, he's gone round and he's won it all,
Yeah. I mean, hey, nobody thinks it with Leeds. I just think it would be sweet, yeah.
No, I agree.
Anything else? I can't believe Man City linked with Sergio Ramos today. Please, no. Surely.
I think that's just hot air. I mean, look, let's just be honest. I mean, Sergio Ramos didn't get into the Spanish team.
His agent pumping him for a contract. It's his agent pumping Real Madrid for a 2-year contract. That's what it is.
Yeah.
City last time to United, he needed a new contract.
But Sergio Ramos has been there, done it, got the T-shirt. He's old, you've got to start looking to the future. I think, for me, once you've got to a certain age, you should really be looking at the MLS. I think Sergio Ramos, if he's going anywhere, he's going to either the Italian league or he's going out to the US. And that's it. But he's definitely not going to the Prem.
A year at City could be his route to the MLS, though. And at the same time, Thiago Silva's done a lovely little job for Chelsea, and he's got another year, and he's the same age.
Yeah, but I just feel like with the pace, I know he's done a great job, but the pace of the game.
It's a year younger than
he will tell you he mixed it with the big boys.
But
really?
I don't.
Is he a year younger than Fernandinho?
Huh? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. I have to say.
Fernandinho's 4 years older than Sergio Aguero. It just ages for a minute. So Sergio Aguero is 3 years younger than. So 2 years younger than both Benzema and matey boy at Bayern Munich, Lewandowski. He's 3 years younger than Suarez at 32. And he's 4 years younger than Fernandinho. I mean, Fernandinho I think he'll play forever. But then Fernandinho is a year younger than Ronaldo.
That's mad.
Yeah.
But you know what it's showing us is actually with the way that football is and the way that the players are looking after themselves, where we would have had them hanging up their boots. I think Shearer hung up his boots at 29, if I'm correct, or at least he stopped playing in the Premier around 29, 30. Now we've got these superstars playing to 35, 36, 37 and still doing a great job. I mean, Ryan Giggs played up to about 37, to be fair. So, it just looks like more and more of them are wanting to kind of hang around for the long term. And I think they're fit enough and to do it, then by all means. What's that?
Ryan Giggs used to say it was yoga that had kept him as fit as he was. I think there's a few jokes to be had about his fitness level. I think he has his own routine, but we don't want to know, really. I think he works out on the bag, I heard.
Sorry, I'm just seeing all of the messages coming thick and fast. So just before we wrap up tonight, yes, first and foremost, Ian, to all the subscribers, please like and subscribe FTB Sports Channel. We'll just go through some of the kind of messages. Prezi is saying evening. So evening, Mr. Fox. He's an Arsenal fan. I don't on the money they're paying out. What are they paying Alaba then?
Yeah, a lot. But hang on. He's the same age as Harry Kane. If City had to pay 120 million for Harry Kane for a 4-year contract, and David Alaba's for nothing, so that's 30 million, a year that City would be spending over Harry Kane's contract. He isn't getting 30 million more than Harry Kane will be getting a year. No way. So if you look at it like that, over a 4-year period, Alaba will be costing Real Madrid probably 25% of whoever buys Harry Kane.
Yeah. I think it's a steal, to be honest with you. I think he's a world-class player. We've got Europa Conference League. Brezzy there making some really, really poor jokes. And I reckon Brezzy should go to bed. He's talking about Poch was never backed. I agree.
Poch was never backed in the transfer market, which is fair enough. That's what you said. I'm giving some support for Brezzy here.
Yeah, sorry. Win some trophies first. Brezzy, I don't know what he's talking about in terms of trophies. Why would Poch go back to Spurs when he is at PSG? I think, why not? He wants to finish off the job he started. Then we've got, hey guys, just came to say hi. We've connected earlier today. Great, Chelsea, welcome. We've talked a big game about Chelsea and how great your youth system is, how great your squad is, and the fact that you're direct challengers to City going forward. No, Brezzy again. You will get all three for Kane. That is robbery. Oh yeah. So that's in relation to my.
You're having a giraffe. Yeah.
That's my Sterling, Laporte, and Jesus for Kane. I think that's a great deal, to be honest. I hope Levy's watching. Kane must change his mind after yesterday. Champions League. He's unfinished business with us. Wow. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Ross, is that Barkley? Ross Barkley?
Barkley?
Yeah. Is he still a Chelsea player?
Yes. Loan's finished at Villa.
Yeah.
They ain't going to get much money for him.
Yeah, I think he needs to go to Villa, to be honest. I think he needs to leave Chelsea. I think that squad is just too good. And I think Villa got a good little team that they've built, actually, and they could do something. Brezzy says, I shouldn't sleep on Sancho. I'm not convinced about Sancho, you know. I know you said him going to United. I don't know. I think the German league and the Premier League is not the same. I can't see him dancing with wolves in the Premier League. I just feel like Tierney.
I thought Daniel James was quite a good winger. James would be good, maybe replacing Townsend at Palace. He'd get a game every single week. So maybe Daniel James can go from United to Palace if they get Sancho.
Yeah.
He'd do a good job, Daniel James, for someone lower in the league.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think so. If Chelsea don't get Kane or Lukaku, I feel we'll go in for Sancho in the last minute. And Kai is our striker with Werner. I don't know. Would you go for Sancho? Is he that much better than Hudson-Odoi?
No, I don't think he's that much better than Hudson-Odoi, if at all. Chelsea have a luxury down the flanks. You know, they can let, and I think there's rumours of what's matey boy's name? He used to play for Arsenal, the big handsome French fella up front, Giroud. Yeah, Giroud's going to go, and they'll release some wages because he's going to go to Italy somewhere. So replace him with Lukaku seems fair enough.
Yeah, I think so. I think Lukaku would come back. I think he'd go back to Chelsea. I mean, he had the run-ins with. He didn't get on with Mourinho, I think it was. If not for that, I think he would have been there. I think he would have stayed. But I think Lukaku, but definitely not Kane. Silva is a Rolls Royce. That was in relation to the Fernandinho comments and Silva and the players lasting longer. We've got Barcelona still owe Liverpool more than 50 for Coutinho. And I've apparently asked if they can return him instead. And I was forgiveness. That's funny. That's the funniest thing.
Barcelona must need their head. Barcelona and Real Madrid must need their head testing when you think about what they've spent on Hazard, Bale, and Coutinho. I mean, those three players have basically bankrupt those two clubs.
Well, that's what you get for wanting Galacticos or whatever you want in the Spanish league. You know, using government money actually to subsidize some of these player transfers is part of the problem why they're in the mess that they are. Alaba has been labelled the most valuable free agent, surpassing Lewandowski. I think it was. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a top draw player, and I think so. With Fox, if you remember Pep saying the only player he knows that can play any position on the pitch. What a player! Really, someone like Alaba. He should have been a little bit more ambitious, I reckon. He should have really tried himself, tested the Premier League rather than going off to Spain. But that's just my view. Barkley's on our books, another candidate to be sold. I agree. I think he should stay at Villa because he's not going to get in your team. Brezzi doesn't know football.
I don't think they want him.
Yeah. Well, I think Villa will. I think he started off pretty well.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi to Sancho. Yeah, I did actually. And I didn't think there was that much difference between the two of them. I think Hudson-Odoi is a good player.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just the same. It's the same type of player.
Yeah,
with me, and it'd be interesting to see if Sancho actually is in the final 25 actually for the England announcement tomorrow. But we'll see. I love Cho, but TT doesn't start him enough, so goes on loan. Nice channel. We'll connect more often. Got to go. Yeah, thanks, Bright Chelsea Fan TV. Thanks for joining us tonight. Definitely going to be some link ups during the transfer window, but also when the new season starts. And then Blue Mood Ian, we need to talk after this stream. And that's all the comments.
Oh dear. Hi, Brezzy.
Well, that's it.
Cheers.
Another round of the kind of transfers today, isn't it, Ian? Over to you.
I'm sending Hudson-Odoi around Brezzy's house for a bit of a barbecue and a punch up in the garden. Cheers. Have a lovely evening.
Okay, so yeah, brilliant. So these transfer talks will be happening on a daily basis, and yeah, thanks for today, and we'll give you another roundup tomorrow.
Cool. Cheers.
Good night.
Yep. Happy Monday after bank holiday. Bye.